There's a silent kind of heartbreak that hits men harder than anything else. It's not the breakup where both of you sit down, cry a little and admit it's over. It's not the screaming match that ends with "we're done" and someone slamming a door. It's the one where you thought you were a good man and she still cheated. No warning, no obvious villain, no smoking gun you can point to and say, "That's why." Just this haunting, nauseating question echoing in your chest. If being a good man isn't enough, what the hell is? There's a pattern men are waking up to, and it's brutal. You did what you were told you're supposed to do. You were loyal. You worked hard. You didn't run around. You texted back. You showed up. You paid the bills, fixed the problems, planned the dates, held her when she cried. You were not perfect, but you were present. And one random day, on a Tuesday, on a calm, ordinary afternoon, your world folded in on itself. A message on her phone that didn't look right. A late-night work thing that your gut couldn't swallow. A friend who hesitated a second too long when you asked, "You haven't seen her with anyone, right?" Then the crack. Not the full confession. That comes later. The crack, it's the first lie you know is a lie. You ask a simple question. Her eyes flinch for half a second. She looks away. Her mood shifts. Suddenly you're controlling, insecure, overthinking. You walk away from that conversation with a knot in your stomach and a sentence you can't shake. Something is off. From the outside, people still see a good man in a good relationship. You hold her hand in public. You post pictures. Families think you're solid. Friends envy what you have. You still do the things you've always done. Grab her coffee, send the check, book the tickets. On the surface, your life looks stable, but underneath, something is migrating. Her attention is migrating. Her loyalty is migrating. Her heart is quietly relocating. And you can feel it before you can prove it. You notice the little shifts. The phone that used to be left face up on the table is now glued to her hand or flipped over. The "I'm just tired" that used to mean cuddling and Netflix now means turning away from you in bed. The laughter that used to be yours, shared over stupid inside jokes, is now typed into a screen you're not allowed to see. You tell yourself it's stress, work, hormones, a phase. Because here's the part nobody prepares men for. You will cling to the illusion of safety long after the danger has already moved in. Men are built to endure, to push through pain, to tolerate discomfort if it means protecting what they care about. That instinct that makes you a protector, a provider, a rock. It's the same instinct that keeps you in denial while your relationship is quietly disintegrating. So you double down. You try harder. You book a weekend away, you offer to help more. You ask her what she needs. You walk on eggshells without realizing that the floor you're walking on is already gone. And then, one day, reality stops being polite. A picture, a message thread, a location that doesn't match where she said she was. Or maybe she just sits you down, looks you in the eyes, and says words that feel like someone driving a metal bar through your ribs. "I've been talking to someone else." Or worse, "It just happened." No, it didn't just happen. But we'll get to that. Right now, you're left with that one suffocating question. Why would she cheat on a good man? Why would she cheat on the man who never laid a hand on her, never stepped out, never abandoned her, never disappeared? Why would she betray the guy who stayed loyal when he had chances not to? Why does she break the man who genuinely tried? And here's the truth. Men don't just lose a woman when she cheats. Men lose their sense of reality. You start wondering if you imagined the whole relationship. You start questioning if you ever actually knew her. You start doubting yourself more than you doubt her. Because you were told your whole life, be a good man and good things will follow. You followed the script. She rewrote it. Let's tear this apart layer by layer. Because she cheated because she's evil is too simple. And she cheated because you weren't enough is a lie that will rot you from the inside. On the surface, women cheat in three main ways. You've seen it. Maybe you've lived it. the work friend that became more. At first it seems harmless. She mentions a co-worker more than usual. He's just funny. He understands how stressful my job is. We just talk. He's like one of the girls. Then suddenly she's staying late more, laughing more at her phone, guarding conversations like they're state secrets. She insists nothing's going on. I would never do that to you. Months later, you realize that by the time anything physical happened, the emotional line had been crossed a long time ago. The "we were on a break" cheat. There's tension in the relationship, fights, cold nights, separate sides of the bed. You argue, maybe you split temporarily, maybe you just say you need space. During that space, she connects with someone else. Sometimes an ex, sometimes a stranger, sometimes that one guy who's always been hovering in the background. When you find out, she hides behind technicalities. We weren't really together. You pushed me away. I felt single. You realize she didn't process the breakup. She didn't sit with the pain. She just swapped bodies to avoid feeling alone. The bored and curious cheat. This one hurts in a different way. She doesn't leave because you're toxic. She doesn't leave because you're cruel. She doesn't leave because the relationship is a war zone. She cheats because she's bored. Life got repetitive, predictable. She wanted to feel butterflies again, spark, adventure. A compliment from a stranger hits her nervous system harder than your loyalty because it feels new. She starts chasing a feeling instead of honoring a commitment. On the surface, these all look like different stories, different women, different men, different context. But underneath, the pattern is the same. She doesn't cheat when she's unhappy. She cheats when her desire to feel something for herself becomes more important than the responsibility she has to you. And that's the part that crushes good men. You thought the relationship was about us. She shifted to me long before she broke us. Let me be real with you. Most men think cheating starts with the first kiss, the first touch, the first night. It doesn't. Cheating starts with emotional migration. Her body cheats last. Her heart cheats first. Here's what men don't realize. By the time she betrays you physically, she has already rewritten the story of your entire relationship in her head to justify it. She doesn't wake up and say, "I'm about to destroy a good man who loved me." She slowly edits reality until you become the villain and she becomes the victim who deserves happiness. It goes like this. She starts focusing on your flaws more than your efforts. She replays every argument, but only the parts where she felt misunderstood. She forgets the times you stayed and amplifies the times you were tired, distracted, or less attentive. She rewrites "he's doing his best" into "he never really tried for me." And the saddest part is, you usually help her do it. Not because you're weak, because you're honest. You admit when you're stressed. You apologize when you're wrong. You blame yourself when the relationship feels off. She takes your self-blame and uses it as emotional evidence in her internal courtroom to justify what she's about to do, or what she's already doing. In her head, the narrative becomes, "I wouldn't be talking to someone else if he made me feel loved. I wouldn't be flirting if he actually cared. I wouldn't be doing this if he didn't push me away." Never mind that you've been killing yourself working late to provide. Never mind that you've been asking her what's wrong and getting cold, vague answers. Never mind that every time you tried to close the distance, she stepped further back. Emotional migration is not a sudden flight. It's a slow, deliberate journey. It begins with small, unaddressed ruptures, a feeling of being unheard, a persistent unmet need, a growing sense of loneliness within the partnership. These aren't necessarily dramatic arguments. Often they are the quiet withdrawals, the conversations that don't quite connect, the moments of vulnerability that are met with distraction or dismissal. As these small ruptures accumulate, an emotional distance begins to form. She might start confiding more in friends, seeking comfort from family members, or retreating into her own internal world. With each new connection formed elsewhere, with each emotional need met by someone other than her partner. The emotional ties to the relationship weaken. It's like a rope slowly fraying strand by strand. By the time she encounters someone new who offers the attention, validation, or excitement she feels is missing, the emotional groundwork for betrayal has already been laid. The new person isn't the cause of the migration. They are simply the new destination. On the surface, it looks like she cheated because she was unhappy. Underneath, what really happens is she let herself become so emotionally undisciplined that instead of addressing the unhappiness with you, she outsourced her feelings to someone new. Not because you're a bad man, because she's chasing emotional highs like a teenager and calling it following my heart. And here's the cruelest part. Women are socially allowed to justify cheating with feelings. He made me feel unappreciated. I fell out of love. I just connected with him in a way I never did with you. Men are not granted this luxury. If you cheat, you're a monster. If she cheats, she's confused, hurt, finding herself. Double standard, absolutely. Psychological reality, also yes. Now we go into the part most people will never say out loud. The devastating truth is this. A lot of women don't cheat on a good man. They cheat off him. They use the stability, the safety, the emotional and financial foundation you built as a launch pad to chase excitement with someone else. You are the safe home base. He is the forbidden adventure. You are the man she trusts. He is the man she feels. She enjoys the benefits of the life she built with you, your protection, your resources, your emotional labor, while secretly feeding off the thrills someone else gives her. It's emotional embezzlement. She doesn't rob you and disappear. She siphons pieces of what you built together and invests them into another connection, all while sleeping in your bed, using your last name, eating food from your fridge. You notice it in small ways. The new lingerie that doesn't make sense for your current intimacy level. The sudden obsession with her appearance, not for you but for herself. The way she checks her phone before she kisses you goodnight. She will say things like, "I've just changed," or "I'm not happy and I don't know why." But here's what men don't realize. She often finds the reasons she's unhappy after she's already emotionally attached to someone else. She falls first, rationalizes later. She doesn't cheat because you're not good. She cheats because she's not grounded. She's not anchored in her own values deeply enough to say, "I'm tempted, but I made a commitment." She's not emotionally disciplined enough to confront you instead of replacing you. She's not mature enough to end one chapter before sneaking into another. And this is where it gets darkest. Before she physically cheats, many women emotionally detach and start grieving the relationship privately. Months before you know anything, she's already mourning the end of you in her head, while still taking your love, your effort, your presence. She's halfway out the door emotionally, but fully inside your life practically. So when the betrayal finally hits daylight, she doesn't fall apart the way you do. You're shattering for the first time. She's been slowly numbing herself for months. You're stunned. She's at peace with her decision. That's the part that feels like psychological torture. You're crying over a future you thought you had. She's smiling with a calm that says, "I've already let this go." You feel like your heart just hit a wall at 80 miles an hour. Hers. Quietly walked away from the crash months ago. Let me tell you about my friend Mark. Real name, real story. No fiction here. Mark was the definition of a good man. Software engineer, decent income, respectful, never raised his voice. He met Sarah in college, dated for 3 years, married her with both families' blessings. Picture-perfect relationship from the outside. 4 years into the marriage, Mark noticed something off. Sarah started going to the gym at odd hours, 8 p.m., sometimes 9 p.m. She'd come back at 11, showered already, phone in her hand. He thought it was a health kick. He was proud of her. Then, one Saturday, he decided to surprise her. He went to the gym she claimed to go to. She wasn't there. He called her. "Where are you?" she said. "At the gym, baby." He was standing at the reception. She wasn't there. When he confronted her at home, she broke down, but not the way you'd think. She didn't cry because she felt guilty. She cried because she was finally free to tell the truth. She'd been seeing her personal trainer for 7 months. Not at the gym, at his apartment. The same apartment Mark's money helped pay for indirectly, because she'd been using their joint account to pay for extended training sessions. Here's the part that destroyed Mark. She told him, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. He makes me feel alive. You make me feel safe." Safe! The word he thought was a compliment became the word that ended his marriage. But wait, there's more darkness. When Mark asked, "How could you do this? I gave you everything," she said something that still haunts him. "That's the problem. You gave me everything. There was no challenge left. He doesn't give me anything. He just makes me feel." Mark didn't scream. He didn't beg. He just asked one question. "When did you stop loving me?" She thought for a moment and said, "I think around 2 years ago. But I didn't want to hurt you. So I stayed. 2 years. For 2 years she played the role of a loving wife while emotionally living in another man's world. For 2 years, Mark kissed a woman who'd already left. For 2 years he made plans for a future she'd already cancelled. The divorce was finalised 6 months later. Sarah moved in with the trainer. They lasted 3 months. Turns out the feeling she chased disappeared the moment it became her reality. Last I heard, she tried reaching out to Mark. He never responded. This isn't a story about revenge or justice. It's about the invisible damage done to good men when women emotionally migrate and hide it behind a smile. Mark's not broken anymore, but he's different. He's careful now. He screens differently. He walks away faster. And that's what this teaches you. Now we reach the part men learn too late. The realization that knocks the wind out of you, but also gives you back your spine. It's this. She didn't cheat because you were a good man. She cheated despite you being one. That's a crucial difference. Read it again. You weren't the cause. You were the collateral. You were the man present when her unresolved insecurities, her craving for novelty, her inability to face her feelings directly, and her lack of discipline finally collided. You were the one who got hit by the avalanche she started building long before it crashed into your life. And suddenly all the scattered pieces from earlier start clicking together. You remember how she would avoid hard conversations, how instead of saying, "I feel disconnected," she would pick petty fights, how she needed constant reassurance but gave very little back, how she posted thirst-trap pictures and called it confidence, even though she needed strangers' attention to feel alive. You remember the way she treated boundaries, the way she flirted with others and laughed it off, the way she kept exes around as friends, the way she always had some guy giving her attention in the background, just in case. You realize the warning signs weren't flashing red. They were quiet, subtle, easy to justify, because you loved her. So you didn't call them what they were. You called them quirks, phases, insecurities. She's just like that. You told yourself she would never actually cross the line. She did. And that's the moment everything changes. You stop asking, why wasn't I enough for her to stay faithful? You start asking, why wasn't she strong enough to handle her own emptiness without destroying someone who loved her? Different question. Different man. You start seeing the pattern not just in her, but in men around you. You recognize it in the guy who worked endless overtime to give his woman a better life, only for her to cheat with someone who had nothing to offer but free time and charm. You recognize it in the man who supported her dreams, helped her through her worst years, then watched her leave once she healed and decided she'd outgrown the relationship. You recognize it in yourself, the version of you who used to believe love alone would make someone loyal. And here's the twist. Being a good man is not the problem. Being a blind good man is. Being a man who gives loyalty without screening for character. Being a man who confuses chemistry for compatibility. Being a man who sees red patterns and calls them stress. Being a man who hears her say, "I'm just a flirt, I can't help it," and still thinks, "She'd never hurt me." What men learn too late is this. Cheating doesn't start with opportunity. It starts with entitlement. I deserve to feel this. I deserve attention. I deserve excitement. I deserve to be happy, no matter who pays the price. You provided stability. She chose chaos. You offered commitment. She chased feelings. You tried to build a future. She treated the present like a playground. And that's when the real shift happens inside you. You stop thinking, "I'll never trust women again." You start thinking, "I'll never ignore patterns again." Shorter sentences, sharper clarity. You see that how a woman handles discomfort, boredom, validation, and conflict tells you more about her cheating potential than how much she says she loves you. You finally understand it was never about you being a good man. It was about whether she was a good woman, not a perfect woman, not a flawless woman, a woman with a spine, with principles, with emotional discipline, a woman who feels temptation, feels distance, feels boredom, and chooses to confront it with you, not escape it through someone else. You realize you never really checked for that. You checked for beauty, you checked for chemistry, you checked for shared hobbies and humor and passion. But you didn't check for loyalty under pressure. You didn't watch how she treated others when she could get away with bad behavior. You didn't notice how loyal she was to her own word when nobody was watching. You didn't pay attention to whether she could sit with discomfort without running to distractions. And this is the brutal clarity. A woman who cannot be loyal to herself when life gets heavy will not magically be loyal to you when feelings change. Now we flip this. Because her betrayal is not where your story ends. It's where your standards begin. You stop trying to be good enough to keep a disloyal person loyal. You start becoming solid enough to walk away from anyone who treats commitment like an optional setting. You shift from, "Please don't hurt me," to "Show me who you are early so I know whether you can even stand next to me." Smart men understand this. You can't control another person's loyalty. You can only control what behavior you accept, what patterns you ignore, how fast you walk away when someone shows you who they are. So what do you do with all this? You rebuild from the foundation up, not just your heart, your entire framework. Being a good man isn't just about kindness, loyalty, and sacrifice. A lot of men stopped cheating, started providing, became emotionally available, and then threw their backbone in the trash. You thought goodness meant self-abandonment. It doesn't. Being a good man includes having boundaries that you enforce without drama, saying no when something disrespects you, walking away from emotional chaos, even when you're in love, choosing women who match your values, not just your desires. Good doesn't mean soft. Good means grounded. You start screening women by their discipline, not just their feelings. Let me be clear. You cannot fully predict what anyone will do in every scenario, but you can absolutely assess risk. You pay attention now to how she handles attention from other men, to how she speaks about exes, to how she behaves when she's angry with you, to whether she blames everyone else for her choices. A woman who constantly needs to be seen, validated, and stimulated is a high-risk investment if she doesn't have the discipline to say no when it matters. You notice, does she flirt for sport and call it harmless? Does she keep men in her phone who clearly want her? Does she enjoy putting herself in situations where things just happen? The trap isn't that she has a past. The trap is that she has no pattern of accountability. You stop ignoring that. You protect your peace like it's survival, because it is. Peace for a man is not a luxury. Peace is survival. You know what it feels like now to live months in quiet anxiety, feeling something is wrong and not being able to prove it. You know what it's like to wake up at 3 a.m. with your chest tight, replaying conversations, scanning for lies you didn't catch in real time. You never want to live like that again. So you build a life where you don't have to. You choose solitude, over chaos, truth over illusion, a smaller circle over a noisy crowd. You stop apologizing for needing loyalty as a baseline, not as a bonus, as the floor. You understand now, choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Sometimes the strongest version of you is the one who walks away from a beautiful face attached to a reckless soul. People will say, you're cold, you're harsh, you're guarded. In reality, it's not cold, it's controlled, it's measured, it's mature. And that maturity is what makes you powerful. You turn the betrayal into standards that protect you for life. What good men learn, if they're paying attention, is this. Her cheating isn't the end of your goodness, it's the end of your naivety. It forces you to reclaim your standards. It forces you to rebuild your sense of worth from the inside. It forces you to evolve from please choose me to I'll choose carefully. You stop trying to convince women you're worth not cheating on. You start living in a way where only women who already value loyalty are even allowed close enough to hurt you. You become calm, clear, untouchable in ways you weren't before. Not because you're closed off, because you're anchored. You know what drains you, you know what steadies you, you know what chaos feels like in its early stages, and you don't let it grow roots in your life again. So remember this, you didn't get cheated on because you were a good man. You got cheated on because you gave a good man's heart to the wrong woman. That mistake can break you, or it can forge you. You decide which. You don't win by becoming colder. You win by becoming clearer. Clear on what you deserve, clear on what you will and won't accept, clear on the fact that your value is not measured by how well you hold together someone who is determined to fall apart. What good men learn too late but never forget is this. Her betrayal isn't the end of your capacity to love. It's the rebirth of your capacity to choose. Choose better. Choose slower. Choose with your eyes open, not just your heart full. And once you become that man, grounded, disciplined, self-respecting, the kind of woman who would cheat on you will feel it. She won't meet a man she can play. She'll meet a man she can't reach. Not because you're hiding. Because you've risen so far above your old standards that betrayal doesn't stand a chance. If this hit you in a place you don't talk about, don't just scroll away. Sit with it. Then act. Raise your standards. Protect your peace. Rebuild your life. Stop asking, why did she cheat on a good man? Start becoming the man who never again hands his good heart to someone who hasn't earned it.